Right now, we're turning our attention to the investment landscape. And in the pre-AI era, there was an AI era that we were just not talking about. But right now, everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon of AI. Everyone wants to invest in AI. So how the investment landscape will actually change, or is already changing, if you noticed, a lot of the big firms, especially from the US, are starting to open up incubation programs and are trying to get founders in very early because there is another alternative path to growing the business, which is bootstrap, where you can have it fully AI-powered, small teams, solopreneurs, micro startups. So it's an interesting moment for the VC environment. So it will be a really interesting conversation where this is going, how is AI going to disrupt those that are actually investing in AI. And today's sessions will have three experts joining us. Ayla Nurbabu, VC Alliance Program Manager at NVIDIA, Kylie NG, Managing Partner at 500 Global, and the moderator, Yang Ji, the Senior Content Editor at Financial FT Chinese. Thank you so much. Please give a warm welcome to our speakers.
In our session, the topic is all in on AI. So we have two very good speakers. Let's give us a brief introduction about yourself, and we can continue about AI. So first, let's begin with Alia.
Yeah, I'm Alia. I manage NVIDIA Venture Capital Alliance program, which is really our program to support the VCs that are then investing in the AI ecosystem. So, we run a lot of programs to support, investment teams on deal flow, as well as value creation and portfolio support teams to support portfolio companies on technical support. Of course, we're NVIDIA, as well as go-to-market support.
So Kelly from 500 Global.
Well, yeah, I'm here to soak up all the support I can get from NVIDIA. That's all there is. So my name is Kylie Ng. I'm a managing partner of 500 Global. So we're a global venture capital firm. We've invested in 3,000 companies across 81 countries. Half of these companies are US. The other half is not US, not China, not India. They're like rest of the world. We're talking about Middle East, Latin America, Southeast Asia. So it's really interesting to see innovation from a developed country standpoint and a developing country standpoint. Specifically for AI, we've been investing since 2013 in machine learning, predictive analytics, and a lot of the fundamental technologies that become, I think, what we call AI today. We've got 220 companies in our portfolio that you can really legitimately call AI, of which the past 2 years, we have one new AI investment every 2 weeks. So happy to talk about anything on on whether it's the hardware layer, the kind of like the platform layer, or the application layer, or anything that we see in the future about AI. So thanks so much for having us.
Okay, we will talk about DeepSeek.
You'll talk about DeepSeek.
No.
I was telling her, I said, she's like an interviewer from China. She's like, oh, so how much do you love DeepSeek?
No, I don't know anything about that. So maybe you can give us some kind of international perspective. Okay, Alia, I know you are working for NVIDIA for the AI Aliens program. So could you give us some more details about that? How did you do in this program, and how do you support these AI companies?
Yeah, so the VC Alliance is a global program. What we do is we partner with VC firms, and we have really, I would say, two streams of support. So the first stream is for investment teams. We see a lot of companies come through our startup programs. And so for VCs, what we're able to do is actually pass on curated deal flow to investment teams from the startups that we see. So that's the first thing. And then, kind of on the reverse side, what we have is what we call our co-investor network, where if you have a startup that's raising in your portfolio and, you're looking for co-investors, we're able to kind of match that startup with investors who might be interested in them to help them fill out their round more quickly. So that's really on the investment side. And then I would say on the portfolio support side, what we do is we work with portfolio companies to figure out what NVIDIA technologies they can use to optimize their AI operations, or if they're looking to start implementing AI, figure out what's the best way for them to do that. So really a lot of technical support. They get discounts on NVIDIA technologies, access to solutions engineers. So there's really a lot of support there. And then, on the go-to-market side, we're able to kind of offer a lot of the companies in VC portfolios global kind of awareness. We highlight them so that they're really able to get their name in front of customers.
So what kind of AI companies are really kind of become very interesting from your side?
I mean, we see companies from all over the world. We see companies in all industries. I don't think we necessarily have a particular industry that we're focused on. But what I will say is that one of the things that we do really like to see are founders that really know kind of their sector that they're going into. So it's less, I would say, almost about the AI and more about a founder who understands the problem that they're trying to solve, and then AI maybe becomes a way that they're trying to do that. So that's really what I would say.
So, Kelly, could you give us some more details about 500 Global? Because I know you invest globally in different countries. So do you have any focus? Do you think which part of the world would be most promising in future?
Well, what I can do is I can frame like the broader opportunity set across a few dimensions. So the first way we think about it now, and I know a lot of you are investors as well, is that 2025 to me is the year of adoption. So what do I mean? OpenAI would claim that there's 300 million plus, give or take, monthly active users on ChatGPT. Meta would claim that there's 600 million users that they force you to use on WhatsApp. Microsoft has about 1.4 billion Microsoft users that they will put a lot of Copilot into. And there's 2.9 billion Android devices where Google's going to put Gemini into and have people start to use. But there's 5.5 billion internet users right now. So what does that mean? So you can kind of roughly estimate that maybe about 1 billion people, or maybe less than 1 billion people, are actively using AI, maybe once a week to correct their English or something. But for the most part, 4.5 billion people aren't using it on a day-to-day basis across everything they do. So this adoption moment, if any application comes out here and provides a user experience that has much more benefit versus anything else they're currently using, they have a chance to actually gain hundreds of millions of users pretty quickly. So this moment of adoption and the ways those apps suddenly get adoption is something that we're mapping, we're charting, we're seeing which verticals will get quickly disrupted by. And I want to give real examples so that we bring this to light. Everyday verticals that we know, let's say, okay, just talk about English, right? Learning English. We had a company go through a program we had in the country of Georgia. They started a AI video tutor called Practica.ai, 14-month-old startup. Within 2024 alone, they've got $20 million worth of revenue, subscription revenue, and they just raised $35 million. But their full-time team is only 4 people. So they moved from Georgia, they moved to Dubai for tax reasons, and talent and other things.
Okay.
And also because Dubai is great, they moved to Dubai. And we're seeing more and more of those types of companies I forgot to mention, their user base is a bit more than 100 million people right now. So if you really think about like what I just mentioned about 2025 being a year of adoption, people will really start to build. You can call them AI rappers, whatever it is, but if they really start to disrupt a certain vertical, they can get to scale very, very fast. So I think that's the first dimension of opportunity that we look at. I can go through the other two as well, but I just want to leave you all with that thought.
Wow, so have you invested for this kind of companies with more people, with less humans, but more high technicals?
No, absolutely. We're the first investors in that company and many more of this type.
So maybe for the future, everyone can be super individual. That would be a route. So,
yes.
and the things you are mentioning about Middle East. So what kind of new things? Did you find it here?
Oh yeah, I think that the Middle East, so we've been investing in the Middle East since 2014.
Oh.
So we've got close to 300 portfolio companies in the region. Now, although we're talking about AI on this panel and we're talking about the Middle East, I think one of the biggest opportunities the Middle East has right now is that they are organically already attracting AI builders to come to the region. Like for a lot of you, maybe some of you are from UAE, from Dubai per se. I think His Eminence Omar Al-Alama, the Minister of AI, like he's hosting this thing every Thursday at his farmhouse. He's like mixing people together. You know, I've been there 3 times already, and I just meet the best people. It really makes me want to move to this region almost because so many AI
Because
builders
of the
from
tax.
Europe. Yeah, no, because really, because nothing. You know, a lot of European builders, a lot of Indian builders, a lot of folks are moving here to this region because they're starting to see that this is a place they can move with a lot of speed.
So we can say you will come back to the Web Summit again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, next we will talk about DeepSeek. So we understand that in the media right now, Jason Huang, your CEO, has a big fight with DeepSeek. So from NVIDIA perspective, how do you think about DeepSeek? Will it be an enemy or something else?
I know that it would probably be much more exciting if I said that we think of DeepSeek as our enemy, but actually we have taken a slightly different approach, and which I would say is if you can't beat them, join them, which is to say that, you know, we actually have given access to developers, or given DeepSeek to our developers. So you can access DeepSeek through the NVIDIA NIMS program. And we do that for a lot of open source models. So I would say, you know, we're definitely not looking at DeepSeek as an enemy.
You know they're gonna cut out just the first part of what you said right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please don't do that. But no.
So Kelly, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, like it's fun to watch, right? It's like, well, like with this like a sports match, you're like, oh, here's the reigning heavyweight champion of the world, and all of a sudden this up and comer. I think it's really fun spectator sport. But what we also have to realize is that there's so many other very well-funded people in this race. Like we were just chatting backstage earlier, the Saudi Aramco invested in a $400 million round in Jipu AI in China. But if you ask people about, oh, Jipu AI, what's Jipu AI? Like nobody even talking about Jipu AI. But what if like 6 months from now, they just come out and bam, cheaper, faster, better, stronger than everybody else? Like we don't know, and they're just one of many extremely well-funded folks. There are plenty of small teams working on solving very specific problems, and then they'll copy and learn from each other, and all of it as a whole will get better and better. So I feel like there's a quote from Ben Schott, right? He's like this author that I quite like. He said, you can't tell the time by reading the second hand on the clock. So right now we're watching things go in very, very short term, and we're saying, oh, this is happening, that's happening. But the larger trend is told in the larger view of things, not just by the second hand. So I do think that the bigger trend, if you look at back then the war for web browsers, and later the war for different type of kind of open source technologies related to HTML, CSS, a lot of these technological wars, I think it takes some time to kind of pan out. We're still at very early innings, and I think the people who benefit the most are actually the developers, the people who invest, the people who build. Because this is time that we're going to get it's so cheap. It's like the cheapest time to build in AI, and there's the most possible people to adopt your app. Later on, when things get very commoditized, it's going to be super expensive to use DeepSeek, OpenAI, or any of them. It's going to be crazy expensive. Just like how it's expensive to use Meta advertising or any of the advertising algorithms, right? So right now it's the time to build, it's time to invest, and I think it's exciting to just be at the start of this wave.
So will this influence the VC capitalists to invest companies to value their price or something? Because now DeepSeek has used such low price to do such high efficient things. So will you cut your investments?
No, there's gonna be more. Like, okay, so December last year, I had a family holiday in Lombok in Indonesia. Okay, so my parents, we're just having family holiday. 5 days, rented a villa. So at the end of the holiday, I said, okay, parents, bye, see you later. You go back. I'm gonna stay in the villa because I'm, importing a few freelancers. We're gonna build an AI app and we're gonna ship it in 5 days. Okay, I gave myself the challenge, said, look, let's build. And so we did. And what I learned from 5 days and shipping like an AI startup and using and comparing, we were using DeepSeek at the time. In fact, the developer that had flown in was from China. He worked on ByteDance, and I was introduced to a lot of Toupao, and other kind of ByteDance AI, which is fantastic. Anyways, my point is, we flew in, we're shipping, we're building, and I found that the AI compute is not that expensive. That's not the expensive part. What's expensive is the user interface, the user experience between AI and all of us via WhatsApp or via phone. So we're using Twilio's API, and it's crazy expensive. We launched our app, we charged $15 a month, and we had 2,000 users in the first week. 500 of them came from Egypt. But the Twilio cost of making phone calls and talking in Egypt was like $30 a month in total for that usage, right? So we had to shut down the app because it's too expensive for Twilio and WhatsApp API. Not DeepSeek, not OpenAI's API. It is still Twilio, it is still WhatsApp, right? So I do think that there are a few other things that would have to go down in cost for there to be mass usage of a lot of voice agents and apps of similar types.
So will this give you some new ideas about investment?
A ton. For
For
those who,
example, give us.
yeah, I mean, like a lot of it. Okay, so right now we look at equity, right? You can do seed in a company. Like we just kind of check into this 20-year-old boy from Indonesia, and he's got a company that's doing 70,000 monthly recurring revenues, and he's a solo developer. Okay. Now after this check, he's already quite profitable. After this check, I don't know if he's going to need another check. What if he doesn't need a Series A or B or C and can straight away like list? Then what will happen to us? Because we've raised all this money. Like we raised much larger funds, so what if we can't deploy as much, right? But they do need some type of financing, so I do think I'm gonna drop a little secret bomb over here where we're investigating a little bit more and more revenue-based financing. It's a type of financing to a company where we'll give you money for you to acquire customers and we'll revenue share on the value of the customers you get. So that may also help with like the VC kind of J curves and other kind of things that affects the slower rate of returns and kind of speed it up for VCs as well. So we're investigating, we're taking the first principles approach. You know, we're developing a $100 million fund right now that's focused on experimenting with new ways of financing, but also these types of companies as well. So the results of those experiments, I hope they'll be positive, you know, but one has to just try new ways. You know, we're living in the new world.
Yes, it's really exciting, all in AI. So it's the AI era right now. But on the other hand, will you think about any kind of downside if we really all in AI, so involved a lot into it? If there's any challenges in the future, or how can we control this situation, or how can AI really make democratic for everyone or something?
Yeah, all the downsides, she'll answer it.
No, I don't think, I think that with any new technology, there will obviously be downsides and there will be upsides. I think we've seen that, throughout the history of science, and definitely coming from a science background, there are examples of that, countless examples of that really. But I think that at the end of the day, we're going to start to see AI more and more as a tool that just is a fact of our lives. The same way that I'm sure people were sitting here having this conversation about Google and the internet and, the downsides of that. And, 15, 20 years later, we are all using it, and it has sort of naturally evolved to a point where everyone has access to it. So I think, you'll likely see something similar with AI. And at the end of the day, I hope that we all do really cool things with it.
So Kelly, tough question for you.
Yeah, I think that even before AI, as long as there's a lot of information surrounding us and information that we listen to, it may feel sometimes that we are swayed by voices outside of us. So our thoughts may be very influenced, right? Not by just by pre-algorithms or with algorithms, everybody else. So then the question becomes like, how much time does an individual take to pause, to breathe, to really listen to your own voice, and have your own morals, your own values, know what is it you want to achieve and experience in this life for other people and yourself, and how do you have your own algorithm that controls the other algorithms rather than let the other algorithms control you. So I do think that the larger task is for us to be very rooted in our own voice, as a lot of these other things get louder and louder.
Yeah, so feel like more like a human being instead of the machine. So last, could you share one of maybe your favorite book or movie or something we're inspiring you recently, or give you some enlightenment for AI, or yeah?
Oh, that's actually a hard one.
Kelly, I think
maybe I'll let you answer first.
I will go out to bat to say that I am completely in love with Jensen Huang's approach to leadership. I've been listening to a lot. I'm just like, my algorithm is just feeding me like Jensenomics, you know what I mean? And all of the way he thinks about suffering, about building character, and like being like maybe growing up in an Asian family, I never really quite saw like an Asian leader like or have that type of influence. And so hence I think a lot of the Western approach to leadership has just been a bit foreign to me. So I think when Jensen first started opening up and talking a bit about at least the way he approaches some of the things related to, some of you watch some of his videos, about suffering, about building character, like everything's not about like roses and everything. Like I really resonated with it. So I do think as if any inspiration, he also kind of reflects, NVIDIA reflects a lot of that. And I'm quite inspired by the work that all of you do.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think, I mean, he's definitely a great leader. And I think actually, in some sense, it reminds me a little bit of, you know, some of the mysticism almost being in physics around Bell Labs and sort of the, you know, mentality of, you know, supporting innovation that I think Bell Labs was really famous for. So I think, yeah, if I was going to maybe talk about a book or a movie, I would probably actually go back to, you know, some of the early physicists who were developing, you know, really innovative ideas and their stories. And I think it's very similar today with AI.
Thank you. Our time is up, but really appreciate for your exciting sharing and looking forward for your new investment ventures and looking forward for something new from NVIDIA. Thank you, both of you. Thank you, everyone.
All right.